There been a place that called you and you don't know why? You just know that you can't stop thinking about it, right? It just keeps popping up when you talk to other people. They seem to bring up this place. You could flip on a commercial, there's an ad, there's just a place that keeps reoccurring, right? And you don't know why. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. It's me, Eb from Eb's Migrations. Several years ago, I decided to leave the U.S. and embark on a journey of living abroad. That journey has led me to some beautiful places around the world. I share my journey to inspire you to take that leap of faith, follow your passion, and live your best life. There's no better time than the present. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. That place was Bali, Indonesia for me. And wherever it is for you, you may want to lean into it and see why it's calling you, because it's probably for a reason. My trip to Bali, Indonesia was a game changer for me, and it really changed the trajectory of my life. So I'm having my own personal eat, pray, love trip, right? And I booked the driver to take me to my first Airbnb because I had 3 stops. I did Seminyak, Ubud, and Jimbaran. And the first driver, his name is Wyan. And in the book, if you read the book or saw the movie, you know that Wyan was a name. There was Wyan and Katut. And I thought because I booked stays with these people that it was my personal sign of alignment that I was on the right path. And then my driver let me know that there are so many Wyans in Katut because it marks the name you are. So let's say if you're a second child, I don't remember the order, but you would be a Wyan or a Katut. That's how people know which order you are in your mom's children or your dad's children. So I go to my first stay, and I intentionally booked a place that was a shared Airbnb, so that way I would have an opportunity to meet other travelers, because this was my first solo trip, and the guests that were staying there were from Australia and the Philippines, and they were traveling together, and we still keep in contact to this day. And my trip to Bali was maybe 10 years ago, and they were really cool, and it was a great way for my introduction because the young lady wrote a map out for me to tell me where to go, where to get money, and how to navigate Seminyak, which helped. And then my driver let me know that there was a young lady that he had a tour with the following day. I was talking to him, asking him if he did tours, and he said he was doing well with a young lady from South Africa who was studying in South Korea. It piqued my curiosity, and he said that it would be actually cheaper if she joined her trip with me, and kind of put it out there. And I said I would be down. So he said he'll ask her and then he'll get back to me tomorrow. He wound up getting back to me. She said okay. We had a whole day trip that he had planned. Like from the moment that I entered the car when they picked me up, she and I didn't stop talking. She was so happy to see his sister. I guess since she's been in South Korea, she doesn't see too many people of color, so she was just excited to see another sister traveling alone. This was also her first solo trip, so we were there in Bali connecting, and she just kept mentioning teaching in South Korea and how I should come, and it was just the way she kept saying it. And I don't believe in coincidences, right? So that was in the back of my head. She and I split. We go to see the Ketchak fire show, which is so great, and it's there, you're there for the sunset, and you get to see the culture, the style of dance, and the rhythm, the chanting that they do for this. And monkeys are everywhere. Like she was scared of monkeys, and I'm trying my best to say, oh, keep calm. Monkeys are like falling from trees and somersaults, dropping on roofs of like cars. Car alarms were going off. It was like monkeys out of this world. If you are afraid, just know that is a thing when you're out there in Bali. So the night ended with him taking us to a place that was on the water where they make your seafood for you fresh. You pick what you want and they make the seafood for you fresh. And again, she's mentioning the teaching in South Korea, and of course I'm just brushing it off. Teaching was like not even on my radar. So After that, I was only in Seminyak for a couple of days, but my main portion of my trip was in Ubud. And I met another sister at the airport who was traveling on her own, and she was also in Ubud, so we planned to connect. And she already told me that it was everything, right? Like that she was just having the time of her life. So on my journey there, the same driver from my Airbnb, Wyan, drove me, and as we're driving, he explains that towns are partitioned off based off a skill. So the skill set, so for instance, this particular town was for people who make silver, right? So their skill is forging silver, and I had jewelry made personally for me. I saw a necklace and I was like, oh man, I wish that could be a set of earrings. And they said if I had time, they would make it for me into earrings, and they did. So I had my own personal earrings made there, and you get to see just the different craftsmanship, right? You have your wood people in one area and different artists in different areas. So that stood out as something that was kind of cool. And then when I get to Ubud, there's that jasmine like on 10. The smell of it is crazy, and just something about the energy. I knew I was home. Like it was my soul city, and it explained why I was being called here. We went out to eat. There was so many vegan food, and I was just in the beginning of not eating meat, so it was heaven for me. You can get fresh coconut ice cream on the street, kombucha everywhere, fresh kombucha with the thick mother at the top of the kombucha, if you know what that is, but all varieties everywhere. So many raw vegan foods to the point you don't even realize you're not eating meat, because it's so flavorful, and it gave me like a natural high. Like we were buzzing off of food, off of fresh food, and it's, farm to table style. So, and all of the restaurants were so unassuming from the street, right? You look like, but as soon as you go in, you're just in this paradise, this tropical paradise. One spot, I think maybe 10 USD for a buffet. And I'm telling you, like, it felt like I was in like this magical, like Aladdin almost, where you don't know where you are, but it just feels so opulent and luxury, and you can't believe that you're having that experience. That's how I felt in that restaurant. I left my phone there too, and I wound up finding a receipt and calling, and they still had my phone in the bathroom. But that's like a testament to the people as well. So the stores, like I remember in Ubud, the things that stood out to me were walking. Like I walked around and I would see the children. I connect with kids everywhere I am in the world, but particularly noticing the spirituality and how offerings were outside almost every establishment. And a store won't really open without giving an offering to those who have transitioned, right? Your ancestors and whatever deity that they pray to. But you'll have your incense and then like some rice or other food items, but there is an offering that is given. And that level of appreciation and intention of giving back and kind of showing that gratitude, just that connected with me, and that stood out. And the clothing, I had me some dope clothes while I was out there. Temples, of course, but Tertua Empul was, I think I made some intentions that probably came to fruition there, because there are different spouts, right? This is like a magical fountain where even locals go, and there's a ritual you do to each spout, and each spout has like, maybe one is dealing with money, another one is dealing with love. So you go in front of each one and you set your intention, and the ritual is something like, you wash your face 3 times, wash your head 3 times. So you're supposed to drink the water. I didn't drink the water. And then you say your intention, whatever it is, 3 times, and you do that for each fountain. And you come out refreshed and cleansed, and you can buy what you need to get in. And that is something that I would highly recommend you add to your list if you do anything. There are tons of videos telling you all the things to do. This is just showing you how this place was calling me, and it happened at a time where I was just confused, right? Like I know I wanted something more in life. I just didn't know what that more was, nor did I know how to attain it, because I didn't know what was going on. But I knew I didn't want to do what I was doing anymore, right? There was just something else needed to happen. And that solo trip did it for me. And being in Bali, having my heart chakra expanded wide open, and it really expanded when I got to Ubud, allowed me to just feel things that I hadn't felt. And joy and love were the immediate feelings. And then they felt so foreign because I couldn't place what they were. And when I did, I'm like, wow, I've been depriving myself of these sensory feelings, these basic emotions that we all should have access to, joy and love. And instead it was just burdened with just exhaustion from the states of like the rat race and every day. And because I was doing social work and being an empath, I was taking on like so much secondhand trauma on a daily basis that I didn't realize that I had desensitized myself to feelings of good joy and love. And being in Bali reawakened those things in me, and just being in alignment, like feeling that call and answering it, taking that leap. Like I was scared, trust me, my first solo trip, and it was a journey to get there, but I did it. And doing that allowed me to meet these beautiful people who were right there for me, exactly where they needed to be in that timing. So Bali was just that spiritual awakening for me and what I needed. And not that that will give you that, but wherever you're being called to probably is for a reason, and you owe it to yourself to check it out. If it happens to be Bali, I can affirm to you that it is a beautiful place. Yes, it is saturated with tourists and boo-boo, but you can find your spot. I stayed with a family with Kata, and his family's compound, a villa was like $35 a night. And the mom made me, they knew I didn't eat like a lot of things that most people didn't like. Back then it was gluten and all of these things I wasn't eating, but these were gluten-free coconut, like fresh coconut pancakes that they made for me, and they would not take a dime for me. And the mom made it that next day, but I sat and I spoke with him, and he just talked about his journey of being an artist and how he gets his work and the joy he has and this, that, and the third. And the young lady that I met, she was from Haiti, living in the States, sat with me and we vibed with him. But this all happened, it was just so casual, like he knew us in another life. We had a really good time and it was natural. And after that, I went to Jimbaran, and Jimbaran is where a lot of celebrities go. So there's the Rock Bar, which is this cliff, and you can see the sunset. I had a little dinner for one. It was nice. It is expensive, just know that, but it's worth the views. It definitely is. Jimbaran is probably a bit more expensive in Thailand, expensive than most parts. But then, I don't know what the prices are now. I paid maybe $80 for a night, and that was a suite where like the bathroom was like right in the middle of the room, and that was me splurging. And you can totally splurge for like $100 and under. And that's, especially if you're coming from the States, for what you'll get out there, it is so worth it. So I ended my trip there, and it was nice to be by myself because there wasn't many people out there, many tourist groups. So I was there by myself and got a massage, ended my trip. And when I got back home, I remember being picked up at the airport by my friend, and she's telling me about things that I missed, like it's giving me the tea with friends, and I cried. Like I cried. I'm like, oh my gosh, everything is still the same. Everyone is still the same. Like I just had this out of body experience, and here I am back in the States where people who have access to so much have like silly problems. And just to have my driver explain to me that there is one day that they take in Bali for a day of silence, and this day of silence is to show gratitude and appreciation for everything that adds value to your life, starting with something so minuscule as a car, because that car gets you from point A to point B, so that way you can make a means to provide for your family. So every little grain of any little thing that adds value to your life, you are to give an offering to it that day. And there is no talking. Again, it's just a day of silence, but it's just everyone extending and expressing gratitude and giving offerings. And imagine if we did that on a global scale. But just that is the energy that I was warped in while I was there, and to just be spat back out into the portal of New Jersey. It was like, oh my God, so jarring for my soul. And I was sobbing. I've never cried coming back from a trip, and what really did it for me was pulling up to my job for the first time and I couldn't get out the car. Like, I was playing my music. I've got like a CD. Yes, a CD. Because my car had a CD player back then, and I had a CD with the instrumentals, like their jazz music from Bali. And I played that, and that helped. But still, when I got to the job, and then that's when it hit me. I said, Eb, yep. I was talking to myself. I said, Eb, you're making a choice every day to do something that makes you miserable. Like, this is a choice. And we're doing this. And I was like, but we can make another choice. We can choose something that can possibly bring us joy. We don't know what's on the other end, but it won't be this, right? And that's when it hit me. The come teach in South Korea, right? That come teach in South Korea. So I asked her more about it, and I started looking and doing research into teaching in Asia, and I had narrowed it down to the countries I wanted, and South Korea just gave me the most comprehensive package. I've done another video on South Korea and teaching abroad in a separate video, but if I was not in that trip and listened to my inner self, my calling, and took the leap to try something different, take my first solo trip, and then keep myself open to meeting and just open to whatever the universe had for me, I was in the right place at the right time. And that's when I left the States. After that, I took that job to South Korea. I got the job in South Korea, accepted it, lived there. I've lived abroad, and I've seen so much beauty in the world and had such beautiful experiences. And I always attribute it to what I felt while I was in Bali. Just the way my soul was literally like shattered and awakened. It's almost like I had my rebirth then. And from then, I've just been saying yes more to everything I want and pushing past fear. And sometimes it takes that one time, and then you can remind yourself, well, we were here before and we did it then, so can definitely do it again and again and again and again. There will always be something new. We will always peak, but the beauty is you will always have an opportunity to grow and evolve. And if you remember that you know nothing at all, like you may think you know, but you know nothing at all. And there's such beauty in that, because then there's so much to learn. But if you know everything, then I feel sorry, because you miss out on such beauty of learning and growing and evolving. So cheers to you. Cheers to you having a trip of your lifetime. Cheers to your soul being reawakened and shattered, and to you exposing yourself to something new. Love and light.